I only watched the first Halloweentown because of Debbie Reynolds. I love her. And having said that, the first Halloweentown did sound interesting. I love family-friendly, slightly comedic, Halloween-themed films. And I've discussed Halloweentown and I said how much I really enjoyed it. And people did tell me after I first mentioned watching that the sequels aren't as good. And while I agree, I did like Kalabar's Revenge. I did think this was a good second film. The fact that I was keen to go on to the sequels is obviously testament to how much I enjoyed the first film, but even if I hadn't, because of Debbie Reynolds, I probably would have still watched it. So this was released in 2001, and it's directed by Mary Lambert, and I'll read the description from IMDb, which gives a pretty decent overview without spoiling anything. And this says, a young witch and her grandmother work together to foil the plans of a wicked warlock's son before he can use powerful spells to create chaos in the world. So we have Marnie Piper again, played by Kimberly J. Brown, and the fabulous Aggie Cromwell, played by the equally fabulous Debbie Reynolds, and they team up to try and prevent Cal from doing these horrific things. He kind of tricks Marnie into befriending him, and that leads to some pretty difficult situations that are, as the description said, going to create chaos in the world, but it puts a lot of things under threat. He's using these powerful spells, so Marnie and Aggie have to team up. So we have this experienced witch and this witch in training to try and defeat this evil magic, and it's a lot of fun. What I particularly liked about that is, even though the magic is quite dark, the color palettes and the imagery, the set design, they're not that dark or foreboding. It obviously, towards a certain point, it does get quite intimidating, but it still maintains that fun, bright, colourful, entertaining feel that we got with the first Halloweentown. So it doesn't completely lose that essence, and that's something that I was really, really pleased with. So the narrative I liked. I thought the progression was really great. I wasn't trusting Cal from the word go, so I wasn't 100% surprised, but I do think the development of the characters is pretty decent as well. And obviously the acting is brilliant. Marnie is a great character, very well portrayed. Debbie Reynolds is absolutely everything. I feel like we get more of her in this film than we did the previous, which obviously I'm going to absolutely love that. So do I have any complaints? No, not at all. Do I think it's not as good as the first film? I think certainly the level of magic and the element of surprise isn't quite as strong as it is in the first film. That doesn't necessarily mean it's not as good as the first film. I just think it's maybe different and it gives out a different vibe. Truly, I really enjoyed it. Whether or not I feel as positive about the next one, I will discuss that at some point. But honestly, Halloweentown 2 is, for all intents and purposes, a pretty decent sequel.